Morning, welcome back. Sunny West Cumbria. Yeah, you can see we've got one of them to look at today, and that is to get a 500-hour service. This one here is running and cutting out. So we'll have a look at fuel filters and stuff like that, and he says, oh well, if you're doing fuel filters you might as well service it. So I'm going to service that Takeuchi, I'm going to service that 140, and hopefully the service queues they're running and cutting out with that Takeuchi. That's what I'm hoping anyway. Now if you remember, I serviced a load of Takeuchis back end of last year. I remember there's like an inline filter that screws into the electric lift pump, and I'm hoping that that's going to be the spot where the fuel's all choked. We'll start it up and just see what it's doing, and then I'll save that 140 till after lunch. Nice day though, it is a nice day. Foot's not too bad, if anybody's wondering. Just have to be a bit more careful, but I can still climb in and out of diggers alright, so yeah, I'm happy. Yeah, so I was going to do these on Friday, but I thought I'd just better have an easy day on Friday and just see what I can and can't do, and just take it from there. Well, it runs. It does sound a little bit odd. I'll get it turned around anyway. Where's the engine on this? Is that the engine at the back? So I'll need the back of the digger or between the tracks. I'll get this manoeuvred and I'll have a look. It ran alright for me. I've got the travel motors set up. You can get in this bonnet, look. Yeah. We need to unlock it. Yeah, I'm sure there was something in here. Ah, yeah, that's right. That unscrews and there's a filter that goes in there. I remember that. These filters don't look too bad, do they? But it ran alright. I've loaded the engine up and it would sort of, it wasn't bogging down and dying a death. There's a bit of a knocky noise, but I'm not sure what they sound like normally. The problem when you're used to just... That won't open though. Yeah, we'll have a look. Isuzu engine in this, so I'm not really that familiar with Isuzu engines. Don't know what they're supposed to sound like, but yeah, it runs alright like. Right, put my boiler suit on and we'll drop some oils. Might just be a servicing day today, hopefully. Ooh, new tools. Okay, new tools. I lost my 1/2-inch flexi head ratchet, which I haven't had long, so that's good. Ah yeah, just talking to the fella there, it was on site and they ran it low diesel, and so it was off hired, fetched back here, put some diesel in it, primed the filters, and it was right again. So chances are they ran it low diesel, sucked a load of crap up, blocked something up, and then they've got it going again. So full set of filters, and we'll just make sure all fuel lines have got plenty of fuel going through them. Right, I'll put a boiler suit on, we'll get started with this. I need to get that bonnet open, it won't open. So what I think I'll do, I've got the hubs draining, I'll change the fuel filters and get it running again with new fuel filters on it. Just make sure they're right before I drain engine oil and do the rest of the filters on it. Just make sure it's right then. It's on about 8,000 hours this machine, so should be okay like. But yeah, I'll just make sure there's no filters in here, because I know on some of the older Doosans they used to have like a filter in these banjo tails to be a fitting in here, so I'll just make sure there's none of that to keep an eye out for. But I'm sure it'll be alright like. all the filters changed. Did that little one in there, but it was immaculate, like. Not wrong with that. This one had a few bits in, that's the first one from the tank. See, I'm just bleeding it. I don't know if anybody knows Takeuchi's, whether that's like standard equipment or not. Looks a bit kind of not homemade, but whether or not there should be an inline filter in there first, and they've put that in to help bleed it, because this hand pump's a little bit kind of doesn't feel like there's much. I mean, it's doing its job, but it's very, very slow. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, don't want to just stare because it's working, but whether or not that should have a clip on it or not, I don't know. Something tells me that's not standard, like. But anyway, it's bleeding up alright, so we'll continue on. See what happens. Learning. It's primed up, no bother. Just about here, the fuel going back into the tank. Or the air. Sounds like all the air's bled out of it now. Just looking, it'd be some job to take that fuel tank off, wouldn't it? Goodness me. Everything's built on top of it. Valve chest. Is this a fuse board or something? Don't know what that thing is. Everything's just on top of it. It's some job, like. Or is that... It's split in half, is it? Is half of it a fuel tank, half of it hydraulic? This looks like the refueling pump, I imagine. Yeah. I'd say that was the refueling pump. That's the fuel level sender. Where's the hydraulic tank on these? Oh, over here, look, so it is. Fuel tank. That'll take a bit of getting off. Right, here's my hydraulic tank here. I'll have to change that filter in there. Hellfire. Well, I think it should start. So we'll find out. Not left any hoses nipped. That's pumping away grand. Go and see what happens. We'll only know if we try it. Sounds alright to me. Not the sweetest sounding engine I've ever heard, like. But it's working. Right, I'll change the engine oil, air filters, engine oil filter. Just spotted the pilot filter, at least that's handy to get to. Engine oil filter isn't there, look. A belly plate off job. I'm not taking that belly plate off, look. Take that cover there. Ha. Very good. Very good. Okie dokie. So that engine oil filter there's a nut on the bottom of it, which feels like a 21, I'm going to say, because a 19 doesn't fit it, I don't think. There's also a nut below it, so I'm wondering if you can drain the engine oil filter off before removing it. I put a rag down there expecting to be able to do one or the other, but I can't get either moved in the space that's down there. I've got a feeling I'm going to have to take this larger belly plate off, or at least drop it down, swing it round out the way. Yeah, that engine oil's still trickling out, it's nearly finished. So once that's done, I'll cap that back off and then take the plate off. In the meantime, I'll do that pilot filter and the 2 air filters in there. Learning. Oh, that was another thing as well. I couldn't find the dipstick. I was looking for a dipstick somewhere up here just to pull out, but I noticed that cap was yellow, but I just thought that was a fill point. But when I've unscrewed it, it's got the dipstick on it. But when I unscrewed it, the whole body of the thing unscrewed, so I've had that off and put it in my vise and cleaned the seal up. I'll probably, I don't know, probably will fill it from the rocker cover. So yeah, I'll do that pilot filter there just now. See what this air filter's like, shall we? That bottom one's handy to get at, isn't it? Oh, fire. There we go. Oh, good night. Look at that. To give that a clean out. I don't think I've serviced this one. I'll have a note of the serial number when I did it. It was about September time when I serviced those 3 Takeuchis. I'm pretty sure I haven't done this one. Goodness me, which way is the wind blowing? Behind us. Oh. I'll certainly breathe better for that. Not too bad. I'll clean all the inside of that body up and then I'll take the belly plate off and get the engine oil filter. That's the only one left in the box to do, isn't it? Oh, return filter as well, look. Do that. Cool. Yeah, I'm sure I've never serviced this model before because I don't remember. Well, if I have, then I couldn't remember how this engine oil filter comes apart. That is just a bung that sits on the top of the bottom of there. So by rights, I suppose you can drain the oil that's in that canister out. It's not made much of a mess though. So I've not lost anything by not doing that. But yeah, a bit of a clarity carry on like it is. And put that in there. Couldn't work out how this filter comes out, but it was obviously just tight on the threads. I need 2 hands now to shove that through and keep that filter in. Hang on. Not the nicest assembly to kind of disassemble and reassemble, but it's done all the same now. Just prefer screw-on filters rather than this cartridge type. Yeah, so it's not made a huge mess. I'll mop it up now while I can access it easy. I'll lay that there. Use my flexi-headed ratchet. I'm pleased I took the belly plate off though, because otherwise I'd have just flooded the belly plate. It would have looked a lot worse than it is. Right, last filter. Return filter. Get this rattled off. Put that in. Put some oil in it and we'll go from there. Get the duck done. Duck done. Duck, duck, duck. You don't see many ducks on this channel, do you? No. I do remember though, you need to service it cross carriage. Talk about that when I get to it. Right, change this. Let's see how much is in there now. Perfect. That'll do for me. That would have been a good chance to use my new oil pump, pumping it up onto there, but I've not got my fittings sorted out yet. And sort of packing it up with nothing on the ends of the pipes to stop the mess. It's just enough at the moment to stop me messing on with it, so I will do that either if I get back to the yard at a decent time today or before I set off. I don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow yet. I haven't decided. I'll maybe go and do a 225 and a 140. I'll see. It is going to be quite service heavy this next few weeks, I think. Well, there's a lot of servicing to do anyway, like, but yeah, just while I kind of take it easy, go to spots where I know the ground's nice and flat like this. I've not had a single sharp pain on my foot working here today like this. It's been grand, but I can well imagine if I was to go into the woods and try and walk across some brush or something, I'll just do myself more harm than good. But no, the foot is pretty much forget that I've done out with it, which is maybe a bad thing. Right, just a splash of gear oil in these hubs. Track this one out the way and I'll get that big duck manoeuvred into position. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why I always start the machine and stop it before I shut all the bonnets. That filter housing isn't on right for whatever reason. And it did feel tight, and it's coming from around this area here, so yeah, I made all that effort not to make a mess, and now I've made a mess. Good. Oh, what have I done wrong now? Let's have a look. There we go. I swear when I put that canister on and sort of got it on so tight with my fingers and then finished it off with that, I got to the point where it felt tight and I didn't want to go daft on it. But then I just put it on there and it's gone up another dozen turns or so. I did look at it. I remember looking at it because you won't be able to see very well, but there was a little bit of a gap. And I thought, that doesn't look right. I do remember thinking, that doesn't look right. There we go, you live and you learn. That looks right now. Please, I literally did just fire it up and then stopped it because I heard something like pouring out. Oh, grab a load of rags now and chuck them down in that belly plate. You know me, I don't like making a mess. I've made a big mess there. I'll probably park it somewhere, lift the blade up so all the oil runs to the back. Run it all out. Before I tidy it up, I'll just start it again, make sure I've stopped it. There's no point tidying it all up and then starting it and it doing the same again. The key's a bit funny in this. That's better. Right, my mind is made up. That is a stupid idea. So you put the cartridge into the filter, then put that bolt up through it, and you can see it's on a bit of an angle. You've got to, as you run the bolt up, you've got to slide it between a sleeve, the body of the filter between a sleeve in the filter head. If you don't do that, then you damage the body of the filter, which then allows it to leak oil. So I've just repaired it, I've just ran it. It's not leaking. I was that close to phoning up and getting a new filter body ordered. Stupid idea. What's wrong with a spin-on filter like? I was very nearly converted. I was gonna pack up my Doosan gear and go and work on Takeuchi's, but that's just swung it the wrong way for me, I'm afraid. I bet if you'd have known, you'd have known, and if ever I have to service this digger again, I will know for next time. But yeah, I'm sure I didn't service this type of arrangement last time, like, positive. Because I would have done that the first time, surely. So yeah, when I thought it had gone tight, it had done but the sleeve hadn't gone inside the other sleeve, and so when I've gone to nip it up there, I've basically bent the sleeve over. Thankfully it was the sleeve in the filter house. Yeah, the filter housing rather than the filter head. What a mess there is in there now. Try and have a mop up as well as I can. Check this engine oil as well. I've probably lost a cupful. Always looks worse, doesn't it, than it actually is. Have a look. Right, 500 hour service on this 140 duck. Need to remind myself how to drive these things, because I can start them now by the look. No, I can't. Why can't I start it? That's the park brake on. Forward. Forward. That should start now. Hey, I've started it. Pull that towards us. Right, pilot lever up. Then park brake off. Then there's a latching brake pedal here. That off. Can lift my arm up, so that's a good start. It should go backwards now. We'll use it on the back of here. Oh, moving. Grand. Right. Get this kind of set up in some sort of a fashion. I've said it before and I'll say it again. It is strange to be sat in a digger cab driving something with a steering wheel. I'm just not used to it. Out behind us. No. Right. Yeah, I just need to pull forward at that now. Sort that out. Okay. Right, we're all set up for a service. Remember I was telling you about Rexroth pumps? This is a Rexroth pump. What was I talking to you about? I was talking to you about bleeding the oil through them. When I was fitting that rotate kit, that's right. This is a Rexroth pump. This is the pump I was telling you about, where if you don't bleed the oil through these properly, then like that and the junk. But they are a very good pump. So this machine is basically like it's a DX140 duck. So it's got the 6-cylinder Doosan engine in. Because that engine's that much bigger, we haven't got the space in the pump bay for the conventional pump. So we've got this Rexroth pump in, which is probably a more expensive unit, but it's much more compact. And it provides a good oil flow for your motors and all of that stuff. So yeah, looks like I serviced this last in July, end of July. Definitely didn't do that Takeuchi in July, like. Positive of that. What have I noticed with this, other than the engine oil filter leaking? There's a bit of a oil leak under here, which I have investigated. It is the seal where the injector wiring harness goes into the rocker cover. It's leaking out the bottom of that seal, and it's actually making more of a mess than I expected it to be at, because you've got a piggyback pump, you've got a pump that, what does it do? Is it your pilot pump? Might be your pilot pump, I don't think it is your pilot pump. Brake pilot filter, brake pilot pump. There's a pump on the engine anyway, hydraulic pump. Is that? Yeah. And I thought it might be something like that, but it isn't. Anyway, get some engine oil dropped out of this. My drive shafts to grease. Well, I was sure I remarked last time when I serviced this, the drive shafts were well greased. Yeah. Just a 500 hour service. Engine oil, 2 fuel filters and a pilot filter. I've just looked. So 1043. It's only done 1342. So it doesn't even need a 500 hour, but I'm here now, I've got the filters, I'll do it anyway because I've been told to. You never know, that machine might go away up the road, and that's why he's wanting it done early. Who knows? Do as I'm told, don't ask questions. Yeah, them filters look right. Okay, crack on. Look at that. 300 odd hours and the oil's still golden. Feels like a bit of a wasted exercise, but it is what it is. Do as I do. Now that filter was tight. I know it's damp looking, but it's not the first time I've come across it with the occasional Doosan engine. Just get a bit dampness about them, but I've got to keep an eye on that because this engine holds about 25-26 litres, so that one was already quarter full. I'll just change it out now. It's probably running up into there. I can just leave that empty 20 litre under it. Hang on. I'm just putting my engine oil filter on. As I've been doing it, I've been looking at my phone sat there. Very shortly it'll come up and tell me warning, phone functions restricted due to heat. I'm just thinking, wouldn't it be clever if they've made a phone that would recharge by solar? You just left it in the sun like that. That'd be good. The reason I'm thinking that is because this phone here that I'm filming on is in low power mode. I'm not sure how much of this service you're going to see. I am going to use these grips just to nip this filter up because I find it stops them weeping oil, and that is all it is, like just a weep. You can see it hasn't even dirtied the, well, not properly dirtied the belly plate. Like, there we go. Get that fuel filter off next. Right, with that Takeuchi over there throwing a bit of engine oil out earlier, I had a feeling we'd be close for engine oil. There would literally be hardly even enough to line the bottom of the drum there. But look at that. Absolutely bang on. If I needed another 2 or 3 litres, I would be absolutely knackered, wouldn't I? Sure, if I needed to, I'd be able to get some locally, but yeah, that Takeuchi would have really spoilt my day if I didn't have enough. Put an extra splash in just for the engine oil filter. Job's a peach. Yeah, we can go and start it up now. I've bled the fuel, put all the fuel filters on. I was chatting away to the farmer there before while I was doing the fuel filters, so everything bled up nicely. This was a well-behaved digger, as you'd expect really for 1500 hours, I suppose. I like to mention that rocker cover oil leak. Show you in here. You see it's all damp and it's coming from, you can see the drip on the bottom of that plug. I'll point to it, look. See there, the drip? That's where it's coming out of. What a mess it's making. Yeah, really what it wants is that bit of lume from there into all these injectors. It's really not a bad job at all. It isn't. But I have seen it where the oil can mess with the connections in that plug. Okay, right, let's pack up. Right, there's no leaking, so I'll park this up. That on, that's off. Pull that towards us, park brake off, pilot lever up, arm up. That's good. Well, I need to lift my legs up. Activate that. There we go. Blade going up as well, blades up too. Good. Spin around, pointing the right way. So when I was driving that that 57W, when I was saying I can't get away with the steering being the wrong way, they say, oh, it's just like driving a forklift, the steering's at the back. But I've driven a forklift with the steering at the back, and it, you know, you'd say, oh, it's just like driving a combine, or it's just like driving a forager, but see, even on a forklift now, if I steer that way, That's full lock that way. If I was to drive off now in a forklift or a forager or a combine, I would expect to turn that way. But I don't, and that's why I was getting confused, you see. That isn't like a forager or a forklift. That is, you're definitely doing lock to lock the wrong way when you're around the wrong way. That was gone mad then when someone says, oh, can you drive a forklift? I was like, yeah, I can. I'm like, well, there you go then, it's just like driving a forklift. It doesn't change. It doesn't adapt to which way you're driving. Maybe some wheeled machines do, and you spin around and it changes the valve over so it swaps the two pipes over. Maybe that's a function. Maybe that's a function I should patent the idea. Make a fortune. Ali the duck designer. Right, I need to put that in park. Put that on. And then, alright, no it won't let me because, put that on. You can't use the top half hydraulics with the park brake on. I remember that much. Put that like that. Something like that. Lift that up there like that. This is all one-handed. Arm out like that. Boom down like that. Put it back where I got it. There we go. Right. Park brake on. Quiet lever down. Oh, I need to reset the service clock. Right, I'll reset the service clock and I'll join you in the Takeuchi. Yeah, I've left this one tipped up at the back, at the front, so all the oil runs out the back, but there's very little oil run out of it, so must have done a good job. Still think that engine sounds a bit I think you want someone with an Isuzu diagnostic tool just to plug onto it and just shut off each cylinder. It does just sound a little bit off to me. Like I say, they maybe do sound like that. What do I know? Oh, park this up now. There we go. Bit of a different service video today, as different as I can make it anyway. Takeuchi and a duck. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Let me know by giving it the thumbs up. These videos is just basically a day in the life of a plant mechanic in the north of England / south of Scotland. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.